An Israeli attack wounded the Iranian president. Yes, what you heard. Masoud Pazyan was wounded in the leg during an Israeli attack on June 16th in the morning, while meeting with other high-ranking regime officials on the lower floors of a building in western Tehran. The thing is that this was not a random attack. According to Iranian sources, the attack hit a meeting of Iran's Supreme National Security Council. Imagine the level of infiltration this requires, knowing exactly when and where the Iranian power elite meets. And here comes the most shocking part. A high-ranking Iranian official admitted something they surely didn't want to acknowledge publicly. We did not expect such technologies to be used in the attack. They inserted and deployed many agents inside Iran. Basically, they're confessing that the Mossad completely penetrated them. The investigations they are carrying out are massive. More than 700 Iranians have been arrested under suspicion of collaborating with Israel. 700. That gives you an idea of how deep the Israeli espionage network was within Iranian territory. But what really shows the magnitude of this blow is the Iranian reaction. Iran has officially announced that revenge against Israel is on the way, and that if they attack again, our response will be heavier and more unpredictable. The reality is that this attack represents something unprecedented. For the first time, Israel managed to directly wound an Iranian president in the heart of Tehran. That's not just an operational blow, it's a devastating political message. But this was just the beginning. What Iran plans as a response surpasses any previous threat, and the images that are circulating on Iranian social media show something the world hadn't seen since the darkest days of the Cold War. The Iranian response came in a way no one expected. Mehdi Mohammadi, strategic advisor to the spokesman of the Iranian parliament, Mohammad Bakr Kaligbak, posted on his Instagram stories an image that froze the blood. A map of Israel with 2 atomic mushroom clouds over Israeli territory. This is not just any image. It's the familiar symbol of an atomic explosion, and it comes from someone who has a senior role in the Iranian political system. The irony is brutal. While Iran officially denies any intention to develop nuclear weapons, their advisors publish images of nuclear attacks against Israel. But the threats didn't stop there. Mohammad Javad Larjani, former high-ranking official of the Iranian judiciary and advisor to Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei, was much more specific in an interview with state television. 5 drones could attack a European city in the near future. His exact words were, "Europeans can no longer move comfortably in their countries." After the 12-day war between Iran and Israel. A direct threat that comes at a particularly sensitive moment when the United Kingdom, France, and Germany are considering reinstating UN sanctions against Tehran. And then came the most shocking part. Larjani directly threatened President Donald Trump. While he's lying there with his belly to the sun, a small drone could hit him in the navel. It's very simple. An assassination threat against the American president. The context is key here. This month, Iran expelled inspectors from the International Atomic Energy Agency, alleging they serve political purposes and pass intelligence to Israel and the United States. The British Parliament already published a report stating that Iran represents a severe threat comparable to Russia and China. While the world focuses on Iranian threats, something equally disturbing is happening in Gaza. Hamas is offering rewards for the heads of humanitarian aid workers. Specifically, they are hunting American and Palestinian workers from the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. Here's how it is. This foundation operates under IDF authorization and is financially backed by the United States. Its activity is disrupting Hamas's control over the population, and Hamas cannot tolerate it. That's why they have diverted part of their forces to the mission of attacking these distribution centers. The attacks have already started. Last week, 2 American workers were wounded after a fragmentation grenade was thrown at them near one of the supply centers. 2 weeks before, more than 10 Palestinian workers were wounded in a Hamas attack on a bus, taking them to one of the centers. Hamas even prevented them from receiving medical treatment at a hospital in Kunes. The Gaza Humanitarian Foundation issued a devastating statement. For weeks we warned this would happen. We asked the aid community to condemn the threats. They remained silent. We asked the media to stop whitewashing Hamas's lies. They continued publishing. And here comes the most twisted part. A high-ranking Israeli security official revealed that Hamas is doing everything possible to damage these distribution centers, including killing Palestinians. They then document and send images to the media as if Israel had been responsible. Meanwhile, IDF operations continue to intensify. In the last 24 hours, the Air Force attacked more than 150 targets throughout the Gaza Strip. Divisions 99, 162, 98, and 36 have been eliminating terrorists and destroying terrorist infrastructure, missile launchers, operational apartments, and weapons depots. The Lebanese government is in total panic. The data they have just compiled shows a terrifying reality. Hezbollah violates the ceasefire agreement 7 times every day. 7 times. That adds up to an impressive total of 590 recorded incidents. Israel has transferred to the international mechanism more than 200 Hezbollah violations. Of these, 650 were passed to the Lebanese army to handle. The rest, Israel has attacked or will attack on its own. The Lebanese army identified another 390 additional violations and reported that it had handled them. But here's the problem. The Lebanese army only handles 52% of all violations, including 440 of the targets that Israel passed to the mechanism. The IDF Northern Command had to eliminate 73 violations that the Lebanese army couldn't handle. Tom Barak, the U.S. Special Envoy to Syria, was brutally direct at a press conference in New York. There is a limited time frame to resolve the situation in Lebanon, linked to President Trump's patience. And he added something that should make Beirut tremble. Although President Trump is known for his patience, that patience is not unlimited. The reality is that the Lebanese government is dragging its feet out of fear of civil war. President Joseph Aoun and his government are not taking advantage of the international support they have because, frankly, they hope someone else will do the dirty work for them. Security sources reveal that the Trump administration has given Lebanese leadership a 4-month period to disarm Hezbollah, and 3 months remain. But the Lebanese government continues playing a double game. It wants Israel to destroy what remains of Hezbollah's forces, just as Israel once expelled the PLO from Lebanon. While chaos consumes Iran and Lebanon, Syria is taking a completely different path. This week, they signed a historic $800 million agreement with DP World from the United Arab Emirates to develop the port of Tartus. The agreement was signed in the presence of Syrian President Abu Mohammed al-Gulani and with U.S. support. It focuses on 2 main tracks: developing a multi-purpose terminal at the strategic port of Tartus on the Mediterranean coast, and establishing industrial zones and free trade areas. The timing is no coincidence. Last month, Donald Trump signed an executive order canceling the sanctions program against Syria. This opened the floodgates for the country's return to the international financial system. The lifted sanctions not only allow foreign investment, but also facilitate the activities of humanitarian organizations and open new commercial channels. Developing the port of Tartus represents a clear strategic move. It is located on the Mediterranean coast and is expected to serve as a central gateway for trade with the Middle East and Europe, becoming a driving force for rebuilding the Syrian economy that was severely damaged during the long civil war. But the agreement with DP World symbolizes more than just an economic deal. It marks a milestone on Syria's path toward reintegration into the international community. After years of exclusion and destruction, the country is taking practical steps to rehabilitate its infrastructure and build economic bridges with regional neighbors. There have been conversations about Syria joining the Abraham Accords. If that happens, we would be seeing a massive geopolitical shift in the region. A Syria that could transform from threat to ally, especially considering the biblical sites that could become accessible for religious tourism. Israel is not staying still while threats accumulate. The CEO of Israel Aerospace Industries revealed that the Arrow 4 is expected to become operational very soon. This new generation of interceptor missiles comes at the perfect moment, considering the growing Iranian threats. But Israel's technological advantage goes beyond defense systems. From Mount Hermon, the IDF maintains a dominant position that is strangling smuggling operations between Syria and Lebanon. From this strategic base, they deploy ambushes, observation posts, and patrols on the Syrian slope of Hermon and on smuggling routes. Meanwhile, Hezbollah is not giving up without a fight. In parallel with disarmament talks, they have launched a new propaganda campaign under the slogan, "We will not surrender the weapons." Iran has expressed sharp dissatisfaction with any attempt to disarm Hezbollah. The effectiveness of Israeli deterrence is evident. Israel completely controls Lebanese airspace. Its drones circle over the country all day, gathering information and attacking Hezbollah operatives, while Hezbollah continues its efforts to arm itself and smuggle weapons. However, Hezbollah's capacity to act is a small fraction of what it once was, and Israel definitely has the advantage in this situation. Hezbollah has few good options and will probably continue fading until it disappears completely. High-ranking security officials warn that, ultimately, there is a limit to American and Israeli patience. If the Lebanese National Army doesn't act, Israel can still dismantle Hezbollah's weapons in a silent, consistent, and sustained operation lasting several months. It's just a political decision, and Israel is coordinating its positions with the Trump administration, which is also already impatient. After analyzing all these events, it becomes clear that we are witnessing the collapse of the Iranian resistance axis. The desperate nuclear threats, attacks on humanitarian workers, and the paralysis of the Lebanese government are not signs of strength, but of weakness. This is not the behavior of a dominant regional actor, but of a cornered regime. The Israeli strategy of precise operations and deep infiltration is proving to be devastatingly effective. The attack that wounded the Iranian president was not only an operational blow, but a demonstration that there is no safe place for Iranian leadership. More than 700 arrests for collaboration with Israel show how compromised the regime is. It's a figure that speaks of decades of intelligence work. The Iranian nuclear threats are, in reality, a confession of desperation. When a regime resorts to threatening with nuclear weapons that it officially denies having and directly threatens the American president, it is showing that its conventional options have been exhausted. That Instagram image with mushroom clouds over Israel is not effective propaganda, it's hysteria. The Lebanese case is particularly revealing. A government that prefers to risk a civil war rather than confront Hezbollah is essentially admitting that it doesn't control its own territory. With 590 ceasefire violations and a Lebanese army effectiveness of barely 52%, the hope that Israel will do the dirty work is a dangerous strategy that could backfire spectacularly. Syria, on the other hand, represents the alternative path. By signing $800 million agreements and potentially joining the Abraham Accords, they are choosing economic development over military confrontation. The lifting of American sanctions is opening opportunities that were unthinkable years ago. The future of the region is being decided now. Countries that choose development and normalization, like Syria potentially, will prosper. Those that cling to confrontation and terrorism, like Iran and its proxies, will continue their decline toward irrelevance. The real question is not whether the Iranian axis will collapse, but how destructive that collapse will be and whether regional leaders will have the wisdom to choose a different path before it's too late. Day 647 of this war is clearly showing which way the wind is blowing. Don't forget to subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any of the upcoming videos.